Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is the only podcast available on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Stitcher. The only one that you can get, so you only have one choice. Thank you for listening. It is mandatory. It is Tuesday. It is June 15th. I don't think I've ever done that at the top of a show. Said the date. Big Cat does that every part of my take. I never really understood why he did it. I think it just feels good to set the table that way. I'm telling you right now, it's Tuesday, June 15th, and you're listening to Macrodosing. That's what you're doing right now.
Or you're just getting old. I think you're just getting old.
Yeah, it might be that, just like resetting. It's for myself, really. Just reminding myself what month it is.
Like you're going to open your agenda later on and mark some shit down that you had to do.
Yeah. That's the shitty thing about once you get out of college and, like, summertime doesn't really mean anything unless you become a teacher. Like, summer's not any different than the rest of the year. So when I was in college and high school, it's like I know I can walk outside and be like, yep, it's late June. I can feel it in the air, and it means something. It's actually cool. Now it's just hot outside and makes our commutes sweatier. But it is, in fact, June 15th, and we got Billy back in. You're not in the studio. You're coming to us from an undisclosed location right now. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm in between housing, and I'm in New York City and have a much better commute. So when I come back to the office, but very happy to still be around and to come back to the office as soon as possible.
Billy's hiding out from Mark Zuckerberg after last week's episode, and I'm told that your dog had a procedure today, Billy?
Yeah, he got castrated, got neutered.
Wow.
It was sad to see those balls go because they're kind of pretty cool. Like, he had some pretty nice ones. So
yeah,
he's doing well. He's mad at me that I took his balls, but had to happen, especially for like moving into an apartment. Like, you put in your, like, basically everyone wants to be like, oh, like, show us your dog if you're moving in with a dog, and then you just see this like 100-pound American bulldog with a huge set of nuts, and like no one wants you to rent their apartment.
he walks into the room backwards, just nuts first. This is Whitey. He's cool. And then you feel guilty, right? Like that, I can tell that he probably doesn't give a shit because he's a dog, but you're like, you feel bad because you cucked your boy.
Gains, bro. He's gonna lose a lot of his gains.
Is he there right now? Can we see him?
He's sleeping. He just got it this morning, and when he's awake, he starts crying because he's still in pain. I've been giving him the painkillers, but it's better if he just sleeps in the other room for right now.
So did they give you the opportunity? They probably didn't let you keep the balls, but did they give you the opportunity to fit them out with some nudicles, the fake balls?
I like asked that as a joke, and they were like, they were like, haha. And then I was like, no, but seriously. And they were like, what? At first I asked if a vasectomy was like possible, like not actually take them, but there's vets that do it, but it's just way too expensive. And at that point, it was okay.
What's the purpose behind a vasectomy for your dog? Just so that it can still have nuts?
Just so it can still have the testosterone anabolic component. That's why all these dogs, they get like hip problems and like ACL tears. It's because they get neutered and they have no like testosterone and muscle quality, and then they just get injured easier.
I don't think that's why dogs tear their ACLs.
They do.
Yeah, I know dogs do tear their ACLs. I don't know if there's a peer-reviewed study out there that, like, in a controlled environment, compares dogs with testicles to dogs without testicles and how bad their knees get messed up.
Especially their hips. Earlier neutered dogs get hip dysplasia, especially the larger breeds.
So there is some truth to the fact that, like, if you neuter your dog super early, it doesn't develop, like, the skeletal mass doesn't develop in the same way as it would if they had, like, all their testosterone as they were growing. But I don't know about ACLs. That's a wild take.
Well, think about it. If you have like a lot of ACL tears, they're called from muscle imbalances.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you have this one, Billy. It would be sick, though, if you had, like, different options of testicles to get for your dog, like the large size, you want the XLs, you want the medium, you want spinners. Can you put spinners in my dog's nutsack?
Why wouldn't they let you have them? I don't understand.
I didn't want them. Like, to keep? That's weird.
It's weird to keep a dog in general, but like, I mean,
dip them in bronze, put them on your fireplace, on your mantle.
The only thing is weird that like we have pets. Yeah, like nobody, like that's the weirdest shit in the world to me. Like you literally like think about it, because like we have animal rights groups and shit like that, right? Like we care about animals, like to a certain extent we care. We eat most of them, but certain ones we really care about. And like if you think about it, like if you have a dog and it has litter, like a litter of not a litter, what is it called?
Litter
It's a
puppies.
litter, right? It's a litter, yeah. And then like you just basically kidnap their children and then sell them. Like it's fucking wild, dog. When
Yeah.
you think about that shit.
Yeah, I mean for dogs,
It's
it's
not
like,
okay.
It's just like I think it says that people like to be loved by something, and a dog will give you that unconditional love no matter what. So then we like it
weird.
back. It actually tells me something just about people. If people are more like dogs, then they'll be more loved too. But sometimes we're afraid to show that love, right, guys? As
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah, but the weirder shit is that we kidnap their children and then we claim that we love them. Like we literally take their babies and then sell them.
Yeah, well,
And it's frowned upon if it's a human, though. Rightfully so, by the way.
yes. Billy looked like he had something he was going to add to that, but then chickened out.
No, I was being like, dogs were with us shooting in the gym. You know, like they were like
They
there.
were not. They were not. They're domesticated like 10,000 years ago.
I know, but they were with us like fending off lions and shit. Like they hopped
No.
on our bandwagon. Or like,
10,000 years ago, we were fending off lions.
yeah,
Not in every continent. They were domesticated here first, weren't they? The wolves in I don't know the region. The region isn't important. The region is important.
Yeah.
But the time period was like around, it's like 10. It was very recent where we started domesticating wolves.
Yeah, there's some dogs in Europe, like Roman dogs were bred to be war dogs. And so the emperors they'd have like mastiffs actually, or molossers. And so they would go to battle. There was one, I forget who it was, one emperor, I think, of Rome got really injured badly in a battle. And his dog just stood over his body, just like barking at anybody that came near it for hours and hours, and basically saved his life because they were so loyal. We just like things that are loyal. I think that's what it all comes down to.
But like, it's not real loyalty though.
Yeah, but it's still cute loyalty. So like if I got 6 ducks that get genetically imprinted on me and they follow me around everywhere I walk, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's also at the same time like I can't even, right? Like it's cute as fuck.
I think the Joker has hashtag I can't even. The Joker had the best quote about that in the Dark Knight. He said, "Let's chop you up in 100 pieces and see how how loyal a hungry dog is."
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I've also heard that like if a human dies in their apartment and their dog's still around, the dog will eventually just straight up start to eat them.
And they get hungry,
Yeah.
and then vice versa. Like I'd eat a dog if I'm hungry enough.
I'm not gonna lie, I've looked at a dog before and just wondered, okay, if shit goes down, what's the most delicious part of that dog?
Got to be the leg.
I would say ribs. They got pretty good ribs on
right.
them.
Dog ribs probably good. Yeah, and it depends on the breed too, right? Like some dogs, like
you know what it is like actually like the breeds that are like pugs or like the
that
ones
might be a good breed actually.
that just have like genetic defects and like terrible lives.
You think pugs have terrible lives?
They do actually. They can't breathe.
They can't breathe. They like literally have sleep apnea, but like the worst.
Do they make sleep apnea masks for pugs? Put some breathe right strips on there. Okay, we are an anti-dog eating podcast. I just want to say that in case there's anyone out there that needs the clarification.
I am not.
Arian's just
You hungry?
anti-dog.
If you're hungry, eat a dog. Fuck it.
I mean,
Cheers.
a pug burrito. A pug is about burrito size, right? Like that would last you a couple days.
That's a big ass burrito.
Yeah. Is that Whitey? Sorry, Whitey. I'm not talking about
Oh
you.
shit, we woke him up.
My bad.
I heard y'all talking shit.
So yeah, you can hear Arian's voice. Arian's back here. We got Big T. Big T is representing Tennessee University of Tennessee today.
Yep. Arian, we're going to the College World Series. How excited are you?
Who is?
UT.
And what?
Baseball.
Not a fan of baseball.
It's okay.
That's what's up though. Shout out to them boys.
We saw Texas play last night. I was a little concerned about the hats that Texas was wearing because they were just wearing.
They ripped off our logo.
They were wearing the Power T.
Yeah.
Which I didn't
It's
realize
bullshit.
it was called the Power T until Big Cat told me.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's a hilarious name for the
It's
letter.
an awesome name.
You guys named a letter.
Yeah, well, it's the specific iteration of the letter that we created, but yeah.
Yeah, but they were wearing the Power T on their hats.
Yeah,
that sucked. And
we
the
actually-
color is close enough to the Tennessee orange, or is it Volunteer orange?
It's Pantone 151C, but
Okay.
yeah, I think it's whatever you want to call it. But we actually sold them another logo we had a UT retro logo, and we sold that to them, so they literally just use our logos.
Was that like how you got Rick Barnes? You're like, we'll give you the logo, give us your coach.
It may have been around that same time. It was fairly recently, I think.
Yeah, that's hilarious that you guys trademarked a letter. I love it. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yep.
I guess I've heard it so much that I've never really thought about the consequences of having your own letter named Power T.
It's
You
awesome.
just hear it all the time, though. Like, you hear it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think North Carolina trademarked Carolina Blue.
Yeah,
Navy probably trademarked Navy Blue. Maybe.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I doubt that one.
We also have Madeline here, our new intern, Madeline. Madeline won the intern sweepstakes last week, and so she's back. Ronan and I nicknamed her Mad Dog 2020 because I feel like every single sports media organization needs to have at least one Mad Dog. Mad Dog is just a cool-ass name for somebody that's got fire takes. I don't know how fire her takes are yet, but I like the idea of having a Mad Dog around. It's like you want to have somebody named Bubba around. We have our Mad Dog.
Right. You're welcome for that.
Do you like the name Mad Dog?
I do like it. People were commenting and they were like, "What's up, Mad Dog?" And I was like, "Who?" And then I was like, "That's me now." So I like it. I like the nickname. And because you have such an affinity for Mad Dog 2020, can I be real? I've never had Mad Dog 2020.
You have not lived.
I know.
I don't know if I should mention this on the show or not. You know who's a Madeline hater?
Who?
My mom.
What?
Yes. Oh,
My
let's
mom,
go.
who is the
Why?
most avid. I defended you.
Thank
My
you.
mom, who is the most avid listener of this show, texted me. I'm trying to find it.
Wait,
Uh,
Mrs. Big T. I'm so sorry.
I don't even want to read it's so mean. Literally out of nowhere.
Ouster, bro.
On
Ouster, bro. Let's
Friday
get this
night,
poppin'.
on Friday night at 7:00, my mom texted me and said, "Y'all picked one of the annoying girls. I liked the first guy." And I said, and I actually yelled at her. I was like, "We were the ones that were in there talking to him. I know better than you. Like
You talk to your mom like that?
I'll read you what I said. I said, you
In all
definitely know."
caps? Was it in all caps?
It wasn't in all caps. I said, well, you definitely know better than those of us who were in the room talking to him. And then I actually said,
a little back talk from.
and then
Big
I said
T.
something about the first guy, and I said you were the best one by far.
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
And
I'm
she's-
so sorry, Mrs. Big T. I
and then
hope to win back
she-
your loyalty.
Yes. And then she came back at 9:30 and said, is she going to be talking on the podcast or just doing stuff?
Oh my God.
And I said mostly the latter, but she'll be on the show. And then we didn't talk again until today. So yeah, my mom's a hater.
I'm so sorry.
No, you don't be sorry for shit. She should be sorry.
Mrs.
Yo, she
Big
should
T,
call
I
into
want
the
you to
show.
be a fan.
Well, yo, she got to call into the show. We got to settle this Madeline or this Mad Dog 2020
Mad
and
Dog
Mama
2020.
beef.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
We got to have you guys debating
You
stuff.
want to call her?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give.
I'm big in moms.
Should we FaceTime?
Me
I'll
too.
make her face you and say this shit.
Oh my God. But hi guys, I'm Madeline.
What do we call her? Mrs. T?
Yeah,
You can
Mrs.
call her whatever you want.
Like the cookies,
Can I
right?
call her Mrs. Big T? Does she not like you?
Like the
being
Bloody Mary mix.
Hey, we're on the show right now, and I mentioned what you said about Madeline, so we thought that you should have to say it to her face. So here you go.
called? Mrs. Big T, hi. Oh my gosh, you guys look alike. Look, I'm so sorry. I don't want you to be against me. Look, we're in this together. I will do whatever it takes to get you back on my side.
Okay, I have to tell you this. So, my 18-year-old daughter wanted to hear the interviews with the intern. So I started them from the beginning, started playing it, and after a few minutes on the first guy, she was like, "Oh my God, Mom, this is so boring. Can't we just hear the girl?" So fast forwarded it to your interview, and she listened to it. She's like, "Oh yeah, she is so much better."
Oh my
Don't
God.
backtrack now.
Thank you, little sister Big T.
Little sister Big T.
What's her name?
This is
Mary Elizabeth.
Mary Elizabeth. Thank you so much.
I'm Melody. Oh, Mary Elizabeth, yeah. So clearly this is a case of why old people don't need to be listening to cool podcasts because we don't know what we're talking about.
No, you're okay. You're totally okay.
Mrs. T, hi. I'm PFT. I have a question for you because
Okay.
we liked Madeline's energy when she came in here, but we are very sensitive to, we want to deliver a product that our audience is going to enjoy.
Yeah.
So what was it about Madeline that you specifically didn't like? Because we want to make sure we can minimize that.
Give me working points.
Well, if I have to be so honest,
You do.
I am. When you guys cuss, it doesn't bother me, but I'm gonna sound sexist, but
You don't like when
this
girls cuss.
nice sounding girl is cussing, it just really was off-putting.
Mrs. Big T, I'm gonna. My mom agreed with you. She said that when I cussed, she got very nervous. That was my nervous habit. I was very nervous for the interview, so I did cuss. I will cuss less. That is for you and my own mother.
We'll bleep her out. We'll bleep
Yeah, you
her
can bleep
out
me.
when she cusses.
Yeah.
Or no, you're
Mrs.
allowed to say, was it
Hell.
ass, damn, and hell? Those are all nothing more
Generic,
than
mild
generic.
Yeah,
profanity.
like the
Generic
ones you can
mild.
say on the radio.
Right.
Yeah, generic
I
mild
mean,
profanity is
those
okay.
are all in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
One last question.
FCC approved.
Are you
words.
worried about your son ever getting arrested for murder?
You know what? That I'm not worried in the least.
Because he's very, very scared about
That's
that.
very confident.
You know, and I don't know why. I can't imagine why, because he is a letter to the law follower.
He sure is.
Are you?
I don't know.
He sure is. Well, yeah, we'll make sure that he doesn't get arrested for something that he doesn't do, unless it's to get one of us off. All right. Well,
That would be great.
it was lovely to meet you, and we'll work hard on Madeline's presentableness, on her swearing.
My marketability.
Yeah.
You know what it was? It was because the first guy
She's not gonna
was
stop.
just so even keel, and then Madeline came on and she was all spunky, and so I think it was the two contrasting things.
Gotcha.
Look
okay.
at. I won't swear anymore.
And then one last question. What's the most embarrassing story about Big T that you can tell us?
Oh, you know, he doesn't get himself into that many predicaments. Well, you know, the funny thing about Connor is, growing up, of course, he was this avid sport fan, so he kind of flew with whatever team was doing good at the time. So we
Wow.
have pictures of him in Georgia Bulldog attire.
No, that's fake
Oh.
news. That's fake news. That was.
Wow.
Yeah, please
Let her
do.
finish.
Please do. Please send them over.
And then we've got Michigan. What's the Michigan team that's blue and gold?
Michigan.
This is fake news.
That's not fake news either.
No, it's not fake news. But the Georgia thing. Hang on, we'll talk to you.
Don't. No, I'm not.
The
gonna hang up
Georgia
on Big
thing-
T. You're
the
trying to
Georgia
censor
thing
your mom.
Was my kindergarten teacher who was like the world's biggest
no,
UGA
not
fan
buying
and
it.
had her whole class like decked out in Georgia
That is
shit.
True, but the picture I have is when you're older and you're not in kindergarten.
Not
There's not a picture of me older than 5 years old.
Not
doing
buying
that.
it.
I'm
Avery, what's her
gonna
email?
Text it to you right now.
Can you try to email it to macrodosingpod@gmail.com, because I have a feeling that if you send it to Connor, he's not going to let it see the light of day.
It's
Macrodosing
no, it's
pod at
macrodosing
Gmail. I'll
at
do it
Barstool
right now.
Oh, sorry. It's macrodosing at
Barstool Sports.
barstoolsports.com.
BarstoolSports.com.
Macrodosing at Barstool Sports. Yeah, send those over. I'd like to take a look at those.
Yeah, because it's funny because my mom found this picture the other day, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize,
Never gonna
because it
stop
was
talking.
when you were into those fighting necklaces. You remember when you had to have one of those?
Yeah,
those
when I
were-
was like 10 years old.
The ones with the
Yeah,
energy.
you're wearing a Georgia Bulldog shirt.
That's untrue.
Okay, I'm emailing it right now to PFT.
Either
Okay,
you're a
great.
bandwagon fan or you're calling your mother a liar. I don't
Love you
think
too.
it's
We'll
the
talk
latter.
to you later. If I was a bandwagon fan, would I be a Tennessee fan? That seems like a
Hey, brother, I'm not making the rules here. It's your mama ousting you, not
no.
me.
Yeah, she's fake news. Also, she was wrong. That's not a fighting necklace. That's like a shark tooth type deal. That was incorrect also. So that throws off the timeline. So yeah, she literally just made shit up.
Wait, what's a fighting necklace?
A
There were these necklaces.
Oh, the energy ones.
Yeah.
The balance.
So-
Balance.
So like everybody that played baseball when you were
Yep.
10 or 11
Yep.
like wanted one of those.
Definitely had seen those.
So,
Definitely
Arian,
had one.
we love talking about all these weird like junk science things that take place in and around sports. The fight necklace might be my favorite one because it
Yeah.
seemed like one postseason in baseball, some like quack.
Cliff Lee was big on them.
Yeah, some quack sold couple dozen of these necklaces, and all of a sudden every pitcher was wearing them all the time. No idea where they came from. Nobody really wears them anymore. But was there anything like that in football where it was like, I know I mentioned the Breathe Right strips earlier, but those actually help, right? Like open up the nasal passages?
I have put them on. I don't see how they help, but I also don't have like, I guess it's like sinus problems or nasal problems. I don't have those. And it was like it helps you breathe. I never really had trouble breathing. I didn't see the benefits of them. I guess nah. Everything in football is pretty applicable.
Like Copper Fit. It's the Brett Favre thing where he's put on this copper bracelet, no one can knock you over. That's my favorite, is the bracelet that gives you balance. And then
Those were the stupidest shits in the world.
Necklaces are. I think they're the same thing. They had like magnetic.
It's the same science.
It's the best. Like the commercials that they used to show would be some dude at a mall kiosk, and he'd like put a bracelet on some old lady and then grab her and try to push her over, and he couldn't push her over because she was wearing this bracelet.
So who tried to? I think I was like in college or something like that. Some dude was trying to give me like one of those balanced power strips is what it was, and like he's like you're just stronger with it on. I'm like, bro, no. And he's like, I swear. So he's like hold your hands like this. So like hold my hands like this, and he pulls it apart. He's like, see, now put this on. And he like and he like barely tugs. I'm like, dog, you're not pulling it because this is shit. This is shit.
Damn. Well, I'm wearing a
Snake
bracelet
oil.
right now, but this is totally different. This is just a Washington Capitals bracelet where one end of it has a white ball, and that was used. It was made using water from Mount Everest, and then a black ball at the other end, and that was water that was harvested over the Mariana Trench. So it's the highest and the lowest points in the world on the same.
That's the loci.
Yeah, the loci bracelet.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I know the dude that makes those. That's my dude, Steven.
Really?
Do
That's
they
my guy? Yeah.
do they do anything?
No, it's not. It's supposed to be like representing the highs and lows of life.
Yeah, it represents highs and lows of
'Cause
life.
it's like
And like
water.
they
Mount
They
Everest.
actually have all kinds. They have like different colors, and they have
Yeah.
like they do all kind of different like collaborations.
I
with,
used to wear them like every day in high school. It's like the water
Yeah.
from the highest point in the world,
Yeah.
and then mud from. I thought it was like mud from the Dead Sea to be like the
Yeah, it's like
highest
the-
and lowest
it's like-
points.
Yeah, it's like I believe it's the Dead Sea.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
If you like cut it open, apparently the black one actually has
It's got mud that comes out.
like a little couple grains.
I heard something interesting about. What's up, Billy?
Then and there was blood in the Lil Nas X shoes. It's like the same thing. Like, is there actually? Were we saying?
Sure, there might be a little bit of fib in there for sure.
Yeah, they just mixed in a tiny bit. He probably put like one drop of blood, or it wasn't even his blood, was it? It was just like
No, it's just blood.
that was a wild day online where everyone pretended to get mad about shoes.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
He's probably the best marketer of my generation.
Great marketer. And if
Right.
you out there are looking to market yourself, you should be using ZipRecruiter if you're looking for a new job, because sometimes your eyes can burn from staring at job listings for too long. It takes you too much time, too many applications, and then when it comes to hearing back about jobs, you just got to wait, you got to hope. It's very frustrating. You end up wasting a lot of time if you're looking for a job. We know that the experience can be pretty sucky, but ZipRecruiter wants to help make things easier for every job seeker out there, which is why they're teaming up with Barstool to help us find the newest upcoming interns to join the pirate ship this summer. We should just send all the applications to your mom, Big T, and try to find her somebody that she can appreciate.
Yeah.
Someone with maybe a PG-13 mouth.
Right.
By going to ZipRecruiter.com, you can see all the upcoming opportunities open for this summer. ZipRecruiter attracts the best candidates for us as employers. As a job seeker, it's very easy to use. All you do, you create a free profile, then you get matched up to great jobs, plus a lot more, because they are going to proactively pitch your profile to employers whose jobs match your experience. Again, it saves you time. Unlike with other job sites, if an actual person from the company really likes what they see, they can personally invite you to apply to the job, and candidates who are invited to apply on ZipRecruiter are nearly 3 times as likely to get hired. Plus, if you like the job, you can apply to it and many others with just one click. Again, super time saving. One click applies you to the job. It's that easy. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated job site in the U.S. Go to ZipRecruiter.com, sign up for free. Put ZipRecruiter to work for you. Don't forget, you can even search Barstool and apply now for upcoming internship opportunities. No matter what type of job you're interested in, Experience the better way to find it at ZipRecruiter.com. All right, let's talk Lake Lanier. So this was suggested by Coley, who couldn't make it, unfortunately, today. But it's a really interesting topic because I feel like most places, doesn't matter where you grew up, there's usually something in your area, maybe it's in your hometown, maybe it's nearby, where it's generally known as being haunted, where people, there are all these stories around it, local urban legends, maybe some people have died there. There's some people that have maybe seen ghosts or apparitions, and it's just generally known that it's haunted. Well, Lake Lanier is like that, except on steroids. It's got tons of things that have happened in the area, even before it was a lake, but continuing on in the last 100 or so years since it's become a lake. And it's some crazy shit that goes down there. Some very crazy stuff. So how close, Big T, how close is Lake Lanier to where you grew up?
So from where I grew up, probably an hour, but my mom, who we've already talked to on this show, she and her family are all from Gainesville, Georgia, which is a city like on the lake.
Mm-hmm. So it was never like a destination for you guys?
No,
up.
so I've never, I've been like around it. Like I've been to Gainesville and Cumming, Georgia a bunch, but never like gone to the lake to go like out on a boat or anything.
Yeah, the name of the town is called Cumming.
Yeah.
And it's spelled Cumming.
It is.
I remember I drove past it one time. There was an exit to Cumming, and it's a very funny name for a town.
Yep.
And you go out, you take the exit, and you're like, hey, I'm getting off. Get it?
You nailed it.
Get it? What's the town motto in Cumming?
It's a great question.
It's Veni, Veni, Veni.
I see what you did there.
Well, all you Latin speakers out there will understand that one. But yeah, I have been around it. I know that there are a shitload of lakes just in general in Georgia. Like every football coach lives on a lake in Georgia. That's where they spend their...
up in the North Georgia mountains. That's Lake Rabin or something. All the Saban has a house there. All the Dabo, all the rich football coaches have houses up in the North Georgia mountains.
Bruce Arians. That's where we met Bruce Arians one time. He played a golf tournament, and every golf course around there kind of looks a little bit like Augusta. And we stopped by his house. He had been out in the sun drinking beer all day. Went down into his basement and did an interview right on that lake. And he was like, "Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger lives over there. Nick Saban lives here." It's just, I don't know. It's a big part of Georgia culture, I guess. Lake Burton, okay.
Burton.
And so the water that's in Lake Lanier is from the Chattahoochee River. The Chattahoochee River, as made famous by Alan Jackson in his early 90s country smash hit, Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Fantastic song.
Great song. And I think we're going to try to record, we'll just pump it in right here.
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, the lake is bloody and the water spooky. You can cut out that part where I fucked up.
No,
right?
leave that part in.
Yeah.
No, there's too much slander of Big T in this show. We're not leaving that in.
Boom. That's where it's going to go. So Lake Lanier, it is a very, very spooky place. Incredibly spooky. Arian, had you ever heard of it before today's show?
Yeah, my homeboy from Atlanta, and we was talking about it. Actually, recently he came down to visit, and he was telling me about, like, yo, don't ever swim at Lake Lanier. I'm like, I won't, but why? I don't fuck with water. But he's telling me why. And then doing research for the show, I found out like some super interesting shit about it. But no, before the show, like not really. My homeboy had mentioned it, but there was never anything that like I had crossed my radar before.
It's generally known. I think Atlanta knows. Everyone who's from Atlanta knows of Lake Lanier as like the place that you don't want to go swimming. It's like, well, Billy, you'll go swimming in anything. Billy swims in the reservoir.
Yeah, I mean,
The water supply.
It's a pretty decent body of water. Supplies a lot of Metro Atlanta with drinking water. So I found out about it through TikTok. It was trending.
Yeah, when was it trending?
It was like trending like the other, like I saw it about 2 weeks ago on TikTok.
Okay.
Never swim in Lake Lanier. And it was like all these crazy horror stories about Lake Lanier.
Yeah, if we're just ranking, let's say one's got to go. Rivers, lakes, oceans, swimming pools.
Oceans.
Swimming pools.
No, swimming pools are. You would regret getting rid of swimming pools.
I mean, I either swim.
I don't fuck with the ocean, but we need it.
Yeah, I would say get rid of rivers.
I'm on your page.
I'd say fuck a river.
We need rivers. We don't need
Yeah, rivers get like fresh water. Like I'm cool with the lakes being out here.
Oh wait, save the rivers, Coors Light. Yeah, probably. I see. As far as recreation goes, I don't have a lot of time for rivers. You can float a river, which is a lot of fun. I did that down in Texas a bunch, and that's a great way to spend a day. So I love that, but ultimately, there's not much that you can do in a river that you can't do in a lake.
Fish,
You can fish in a lake.
but rivers have better fish.
Do they? Is that true?
Yeah, because cold water, you get like some of the nicer fish, more rivers. Like you can't. I don't know if you can fly fish on a lake.
Yeah, probably not. I've never seen somebody like wading out into a lake wearing that Columbia performance gear and just casting a net or casting a line. But I don't know. I still feel like rivers, they don't really do that much for me as a human being, right? Okay, maybe they do in terms of electricity and all that shit. I'm just talking about like having a good time.
I guess unless you're like a kayaker.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
nah.
not. I'm definitely not a kayaker. But this river, the Chattahoochee, they needed to dam it up and they needed to do all sorts of shit to it to provide, I guess, electricity and drinking water to Atlanta. And back in, I'm making sure I get my dates right here. I think it was 1940s, right? It was 1940.
1946, there was the Rivers and Harbors Act, which was one of these like post World War II, what's it called? Like public works acts, where they just were trying to like build all the highways and like create infrastructure in the United States. So that was sort of the genesis of the damming and creation of the reservoir.
Mm-hmm. So tell you what, let's back up a little bit here because part of the mystique of Lake Lanier is the history of the land that it's on. So if we want to take it back a couple hundred years, even further than that, maybe like 300, 400 years, it was land that was used by Native Americans. And it was actually one of the focal points, one of the beginning points of the infamous Trail of Tears, where the U.S. government made every Native American, or a lot of them, pack up their shit. And they're like, hey, we got a really cool place called Oklahoma. You'll love it. Let's just walk there. And so this part of Georgia, North Georgia, was one of the beginning points for that Trail of Tears, where the land was just straight up taken, been like, we've already got you sorted out with another place. You'll love it. So they expelled all the Native Americans from that land in order to have the U.S. government took it over so that they could use it for development for their own purposes. So that's the start of where this story will begin. And then in the 1900s, it was known as Forsyth County, and in 1912, it was a largely African American population that lived there until on September 9th, there was an 18-year-old white woman who was named May Crow, who was raped and murdered close to Brown's Bridge on the banks of the Chattahoochee in Oscarville, Georgia. And they pinned the crimes on 4 young black people that lived nearby, and they were all lynched. There was a mob that went out and killed all of them, and then shortly thereafter, the town basically said, we want to get all the black people out of this town, in largely pointing at that crime that had occurred, and it was pretty ugly. They basically, through violence or through passing of laws, evicted every single black person that lived in that town, got them off the land. And it's called a sundown town, right? So maybe somebody can explain what a sundown town is, because I've heard the term used. I think I know what it is, but I'm probably going to screw it up. So Arian, do you know what that is?
My bad, I was muted. No, I'm unsure of the terminology until until I was researching this stuff. So I just like a basic definition is Sundown towns are all white municipalities or neighborhoods in the United States that practice a form of racial segregation by excluding non-whites via some combination of discriminatory local laws, intimidation, or violence. Um, it's riddled throughout our history. So like when colleagues suggested this in the in the group chat, I had no clue this was the road that it was going to go down, and why it was so intriguing. But no, like that shit is a wild start to something that is like popping up and trending now, like because of like people drowning and stuff like that. It's like kind of like folk to like, oh, it's kind of funny, don't go there, don't swim there because it's, you know, scary. But then you like research the history and it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah. So
Sundown towns the name comes from black people were not welcome there after sundown because of KKK attacks.
got it. Okay. So like a curfew for some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the town was taken over. People were evicted, and then in 1948, the government bought a 100-acre farm from a river ferry operator who was named Henry Shadburn, because they wanted to start that water project again. They wanted to supply Atlanta with power, water, hydroelectricity, and flood control. So in 1950, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers started breaking ground, and they made the Buford Dam on the Chattahoochee River, which would then go on to be completed in 1956. What's up with the name Buford? Because I see that name pop up all the time. Was there like an original Buford that all this shit's named after? Or is it just like there are many Bufords that exist in the rural South?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, or anyone.
I don't know, but there's Buford Highway in Atlanta, there's Buford, Georgia, there's all sorts of stuff.
I just always wonder if it's one Buford.
I think it's just like a place in England that just like all the, you know, people who founded the towns just named it after, you know, like the immigrants from there. It's kind of like York or something.
Okay.
Know?
I don't know. I feel like there might be some history behind the name Buford. I'll have to look that up and see what I find. But what they did was the U.S. government bought 50,000 acres of farmland, and they displaced anywhere between 250 and 700 families. So it's up to debate right now. Some of the families, it wasn't just straight up eminent domain where they would pay for the land. It was under some circumstances the families would get together and be like, no, our families have lived here for 100 years. We don't want to sell. This is where everything that I know is. This is where my job is. This is where I grew up. This is where my parents grew up. Don't want to leave my town. And the government, in certain circumstances, actually arrested the people that didn't want to leave. And they just said, nope, we're taking all your shit. That's it. You can't complain about it. And then they started filling it up with 600 billion gallons of water. And it wasn't like they just moved the people, moved their houses. It was actually just like straight up a town that they just started pouring water into. So we're talking churches, homes. There was a racetrack down there too. I don't know what kind of cars they were racing, but there was like a cement racetrack. Just a bunch of stuff, like a legitimate town and suburb was just filled up with water. And it's still down there at the bottom of Lake Lanier to this day, where if you go scuba diving, it's like really difficult to do because they're just full buildings underwater. It's like Atlantis. It's what we think Atlantis is.
A big part of it too was that they after the public lynching of those two boys, like there was like declared martial law because they didn't want black folk in a town, and so they literally started like evicting folks and kicking them out and running them out and burning the buildings down, setting fire to their houses, shit like that. So some eerie shit.
Yep.
There was a group of men called the Night Riders, who were a small group who did most of the atrocities in pushing out these people, and they're attributed to being like one of the ghost of the Night Riders runs at night, you know, and they like are one of the supposed evil forces around the lake to this day.
So Night Riders, that sucks that it was a bad group of dudes that took the name Night Riders, because that nickname just kicks ass.
I think there's been a couple groups of night riders throughout history, but this was what they were doing.
David Hasselhoff, right?
Yeah.
Was he Knight Rider? Was that the car that talked?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was Hasselhoff.
Oh,
I
but
just remember Busta Rhymes sampled that show. He sampled the you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Busta Rhymes, by the way, jacked up. Billy, I need you to tell me what kind of steroids he's on.
the same stuff that Dr. Dre was on.
He's big.
Just GH and T.
He's big. He's like, yeah, him and Sly Stallone they got bigger after they turned 40 and never turned back. Actually, Busta Rhymes came to a party that we threw a couple years ago down in Atlantic City, and he showed up and he sang 2 songs and he was like, fuck this, I'm done, and just walked off the stage.
He actually came out about I think it was it Drink Champs? I forget what he was on, like a podcast or some interview or something. Oh, maybe Ebro, I don't know, who cares. Where he was talking about how like, cause like he was like hella big, hella swole, but after a while, like he started just getting big, like fat, right? And I think he almost died. I think he maybe had like a heart attack or stroke or something like that, or where his kid was like crying to him and convinced him like, yo, you need to stop doing what you're doing because like we're about to lose you. And like it was just like a big emotional thing. It was pretty dope seeing somebody that's like that, you know, he's a legend in our community. So it's like, it was dope hearing him had that moment with his son. It was like, yo, you change your eating habits, bro.
Yeah, that's good. I hope he's doing okay. Busta Rhymes is a legend.
For sure.
And so back to the lake real quick. So 600 billion gallons of water, and we got to mention, it wasn't just like families. It wasn't just houses, churches, things like that. There were 20 cemeteries that were there. That they just flooded, and they said if you want to move your dead relatives, you better hop to and get them out of the ground because we're going to flood this no matter what. And so some families were able to relocate their deceased relatives. A lot weren't though, because like I don't know about you guys, but most people don't really have like relocating corpse money laying around. Like that's not rainy day shit. No one really plans for that. And if you buy a plot in a cemetery, it's kind of fucked up, honestly. Like imagine you spent, I don't know what it costs to get a burial plot. I don't know, $1,000, $2,000. Imagine you drop $1,000 to prepare for your own death, and then 100 years later, they're like, nah, water's gonna live here, so we're gonna need you. We're gonna need you to pack your bags.
Did you pay rent on a plot or did you buy it?
No, you can't pay rent. Paying rent would be the most brutal shit.
I know. But
I mean, I don't put it past us.
Who
But
would be paying the rent? You're dead.
You're still in debt. You've been dead for 50 years. Interest rates go up.
yeah, like, oh, like you don't have rent money? You're getting exhumed.
say
Sorry,
your
dude.
fucking your relatives have to take
shoulder-
on your accruing resting debt. Fuck that shit.
I haven't thought about.
Yeah, but, I mean, cemeteries are just weird in general, where it's just a bunch of dead bodies, and you have to pay somebody money to be dead on their property. It's really strange.
It's really weird.
That's why I'm team
Yeah.
jettison my body into outer space one day.
I know this woman who has a friend, and I won't say who, but she has a friend that doesn't fuck with this guy, a very well-known guy that is now dead, and she goes and pees on his grave like all the time. Weird as fuck, but she does it.
So she hated him while he was alive, and now she hates him the same amount.
Yep. And so she goes and pees on his grave
Dude, that's healthy.
pretty regularly.
That's
like
what?
and like if I said his name, you know who it was. Like it's wild as shit.
That's healthy to me because you can pay money for a therapist to try to like get over what your anger issues were in this one relationship, or you can go piss on their grave and get your emotions out that way.
And that's a better solution to you?
No, I'm saying therapy is great, but I'm
Therapy's-
also saying like it's a good thing to have an outlet to a healthy way to express your frustrations.
That's not healthy.
We don't know what this guy
It's pretty
did.
healthy.
Therapy
It's pretty
is
healthy.
therapy
No,
is $200
no.
an hour.
He's
Pissing
sa-
on a grave is free.
He's saying pissing on a grave is healthy.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. What's
What?
not
Who's-
healthy?
Oh.
about that?
Who's it hurting?
Nigga dead.
If someone was pissing on my grave, I'd be upset if I knew about it.
You'd also be dead.
Correct,
Why? What? Hold on. You
That's
think
just- that's-
you think Big T? Let's say we're talking to Ghost Big T now, right?
Uh-huh.
Like you think in your ghost brain that you have this how tall are you? 6 foot by 6 foot plot that should never be touched by any kind of element.
I halfway respect making someone angry enough that they would piss on your grave, but also, I mean, that's just disrespectful.
Spin Zone, she's doing it because he liked it during life. And she's just like giving a little action from beyond the grave.
We should all be so lucky. Like R. Kelly's plot is going to have a sophisticated drainage system put in place. There's going to be a line.
They're just going to put a bar. There's going to be like a bar next to it. Like, they're just going to take all the
They're going to put like a trough outside of it.
Yeah. I mean, for the people doing it for him and for the people doing it because they hate him. It's going to be a lot of. That's probably going to be the most pissed on grave in the history of the world.
It's got to be up there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Therapy's expensive, but pissing on a grave is free. I like that.
It is. And okay,
Peeing on a grave. You don't want to piss off Miss Big T.
I'm gonna
peeing on a grave.
Yeah, peeing. Yeah, good call, Arian.
Oh, that's right.
What? I don't want to ask you who it was, but did the dude do something in his life that merits the piss?
I would say yeah.
Okay.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Well then, sure, piss on it. Piss on it all you want.
It's fucking hilarious though.
But what's more disrespectful, having one person come every month and pee on you, or having the government just dump 600 billion gallons of water on top of you, and everyone will forget that you've ever existed?
Good point.
So that's where it starts to get a little bit spooky. This land that had been twice stolen and now filled with cemeteries, dead people, and a ghost town it's now become a lake, and it's the biggest lake in Georgia, and people go there to do lake things. Obviously, like if you've ever been to a lake in the summertime in the South, there's a shitload of jet skiing that goes down, boating, just basically anything that you can do with a beer in your hand on the water is fun, and people do it on this lake, and it's become a tourist destination. People have a good time going there. Now, where it starts to get weird is this lake has been notorious for having a shitload of accidents, unexplained phenomena at a much higher rate than other lakes in Georgia. So since 1994, 200 people have died there. That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot of people.
That's one every like 5 weeks. And that's the ones they know of.
Right. Oh yeah, there's also like disappearances and things like that.
all the time.
So
There's one a week ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So 200 people since 1994, 500 people total that they know about. And there's a lake that's pretty close by called Lake Allatoona. I think it's 40 miles away.
That's right where I'm from.
Okay, so did you used to go to Allatoona?
Few times, not like, didn't have a boat or anything, so like.
That's the safe lake. That was a good choice because it's the same size. I don't know if it's the same size. It gets the same number of visitors and only 1/3 of the deaths at Lake Allatoona. So
yeah, I looked into this extensively regarding like it's not at like there is a reason for all of this that we can get to after talking about the haunting. But it's a very precarious predicament that basically there's some people go missing and then they go look for the body of the missing person and they find other bodies that haven't been found before. So they find bodies that were missing from before and they can't even find the body that just went missing.
Mm-hmm. So it's a notorious lake. There's just a shitload of people that end up getting hurt or injured there. And a lot of people that die. You said once every 5 weeks?
Yeah, it was one every 5 or 6 weeks, 200 since 1994.
Imagine going to anything where once every 5 weeks somebody dies there. Like what vacation spot has that same clip?
There's a diver that dives in Lake Lanier, is an experienced diver in Lake Lanier, and he had a quote that said, "You reach out into the dark and you feel an arm or a leg and it doesn't move. That's creepy."
Yeah.
I think that's an understatement.
There's a shitload of GoPro videos of divers that go scuba diving underneath there just to show you what it looks like. It's super murky. You can hardly see anything, but once they get down maybe a couple dozen feet, depending on what part of the lake that they're in, you actually can see houses. You can see trees that used to exist in this town.
There's a big drought in Georgia like 5 years ago, and you could see the racetrack you mentioned earlier. Like you could see some of the seating from the racetrack, and like there's a forest down there. Mm-hmm. Like They said bodies will get just like tangled up in the trees,
Mm-hmm.
and they just sit there and they never get found.
So this place, Lake Lanier, it was named. It's actually the full name is Lake Sidney Lanier, I believe. It's named after a guy named Sidney. He was a Confederate soldier and a poet. He wrote such smash hits as "The Boys King Arthur," "The Boys Mabinogion," "The Boys Percy." He just wrote a lot of stuff for the boys. And he wrote. This is actually pretty funny. He wrote 2 travelogues. One was about Florida, and the other was called "Sketches of India." Even though he never visited India, but he wrote about India as like a travel guide for people, and he was also known as writing poetry using the Cracker and Negro dialects of the day, is what they were called, about poor white and black farmers in the Reconstruction South. So he's like Macklemore. He was like the Macklemore of Northeast Georgia. And
He's also a Confederate.
what's up?
He's a Confederate.
Yeah,
Yep, was the first thing he said.
Yeah.
yeah, named after a Confederate soldier, and yeah. So you want to talk about some of the specific instances, the weird happenings there?
Let's go.
Okay, who wants to start? Because I know that you guys have done a little bit of research into this. What is the most interesting or spooky story that you've heard about from Lake Lanier?
Gigantic catfish, man-eating catfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alligators, the farthest. There was one spot the last week, but there's rumors that there's huge alligators in there
Mhm.
that evidence for.
You want to talk about the catfish a little bit?
Yeah, so they say that the bodies get eaten by these VW bug beetle-sized catfish, and that's where the bodies are going. And they live on the bottom of the lake, and basically, the reason they can't find all these bodies is that they're being eaten by these gigantic catfish. So
There's a picture right here. Avery just sent in the group chat. Can we put this up on the YouTube stream?
Yep. That is terrifying.
This is a catfish being held up by 2 dudes, and this thing is, I would guess, 400 pounds, 500. I don't know.
Nah, it's about 250 though.
that thing could easily eat a small child.
It could definitely eat a small child. It turns out this is like a legend. I don't know if it's true. I choose to believe that it's true. But there was a truck that was carrying a bunch of live chickens. So you've all been behind like the poultry trucks on the highway. They're maybe the worst smelling car. And the live chicken truck drove off the Thompson Bridge in the 1980s, sank to the bottom. Divers got sent in to examine the wreckage, and they found catfish the size of 12-year-old boys gathered around the sunken truck, engaged in a ravenous feeding frenzy, swallowing the chickens whole. And that, to me, just seems like hell on earth. Just like chickens just getting gobbled up like they're, what's that video game? Was it Kirby that just eats everything?
Or Mr. Bucket.
Mr. Bucket just swallowing these fucking chickens. That's pretty creepy. And there are a bunch of fishermen that have talked about like hooking the big fish, and then they can't get the fish into their boat because they weigh too much. So it's allegedly filled with gigantic catfish. I don't know. At some point, I feel like big fish are cool until they reach a certain level and they become scary. At what point does a fish become scary? I would say 100 pounds.
In a lake, you can't have big fish in a lake. Like an ocean, you sort of like expect it. Like there's a part of you that be like, a shark could come and get me. But like in a lake, that's supposed to be like chill waters.
Mm-hmm.
There's gigantic fish in a lake.
No. Water's not for humans, bro. Like, I don't fuck with that's why you don't fuck with water. That's why you don't fuck with water, bro. Stay out of the water.
There's also a legend of Fish Head. Did you guys read about the legend of Fish Head?
Uh-uh.
All right, so there was this lady. She was pregnant, and she was going for a walk along the banks. Let me pull up exactly what date this was. She was just going for a dip in the water. She was, I think, knee deep, and she felt something wrap around her legs. Pulled her into the water. She struggled to get back to the land. The whatever it was underneath the water pulled her into the lake, and she got in there. She was submerged. She was fighting like hell. She looks at the thing that's brought her in, and it's a creepy looking fish with human eyes, like human looking eyes. She's immediately taken back by it. She thinks she's going to die. And she's trying to swim her way out, She eventually makes her way out. But it was such a traumatic experience for her that she ended up going into labor prematurely. And so they take her to the hospital. This was actually, it was on the shore of 6 Mile Creek, which is right where it empties into the lake. And so after just experiencing this traumatic experience with the fish with the small beady human eyes, she was taken to the hospital as she went into labor, and she gave birth to a child that they called Fishhead. They called him Fishhead because he never grew hair. He was totally smooth, didn't really have any sort of facial expressions, just like a slit for a mouth. And he had fish-like eyes, and he got made fun of, so he didn't like to go to school. He would just go play along the banks of 6 Mile Creek, and eventually just he became the Steve Irwin of Lake Lanier, where he felt more comfortable around animals than he did around humans. And so he wouldn't go to school. And when Fishhead's mother died, he just took up living in the woods. He just said, "Peace out. I'm gonna become one with the lake." And so a couple times people tried to go capture Fishhead because he was like the local, he was the local Loch Ness monster, the local Bigfoot. So like, the boys in Atlanta would get drunk and be like, "Hey, you want to go out and catch Fishhead?" And apparently a couple people that went on these trips never came back. There was one boating expedition that had claw marks on the side of the boat. That's all they ever found. I choose to believe that Fishhead exists. I would like to think that maybe, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the name Fishhead. It seems a little basic. Like when they try to name boats Bodie McBoatface or whatever. Like if there's a kid with a head that looks like a fish, get a little bit more creative and don't just skip to calling him Fishhead. That seems kind of lazy.
What would you go with?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's hard.
Yeah. Well, you put me on the spot. Like Aqua Dude.
I mean, the people who came up with Fishhead were on the spot.
Fishhead? No, they didn't.
Frog
They
Boy.
had time to think. What's that?
Frog Boy.
You're Frog Boy, Billy.
Definitely Frog Boy.
Actually, Billy, did you look up pictures of this guy, Billy?
Yeah, they said that he looked like a frog or a catfish.
Yeah.
Do those things a frog or a catfish?
It kind of looks similar. Big mouth.
Are there any pictures of Fishhead that we can see?
I don't think so.
I'm all in on. I love these cryptids, like the maybe fake, maybe real animal human combinations. Remember, that's basically how the National Enquirer survived the 1980s and 1990s, right? Bat Boy.
Yeah, dude, that was so creepy. I used to have nightmares about Bat Boy.
Is Bat Boy still around?
I don't know. Maybe he's grown up.
I miss Bat Boy. I miss the Elephant Man.
Yeah. I was Bigfoot's love slave. That was hilarious. I remember. I think I have a whole book of the National Enquirer articles.
The best hits.
Yeah, I need to find it. My parents hid it from me because it was giving me nightmares.
Yeah, that's just what they used to always do whenever they needed a story. They just had a button, the Bat Boy button in the office. They just smashed that. Boom. All right, we just sold another 5 million copies. Great job, guys. So that's the story of Fishhead. I choose to believe that Fishhead is real. I think I don't. Fishhead is real until proven otherwise, as far as I'm concerned.
What do you think about Lady of the Lake?
The Lady of the Lake, I also think is real. You want to walk us through Lady of the Lake?
Yeah. So, Lady of the Lake is in 1958. Two women, Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts. They had gone to a gas station and not paid for it. So they were speeding away and they were trying to get to Dawsonville, Georgia. Shout out Bill Elliott. And they're going way too fast and they cross this bridge on Lake Lanier, careen off of it. Only thing they ever found was the skid marks on the bridge. Never found the car, nothing. Then about 2 years later, there was a fisherman who was under the bridge, and there was a body that was missing its hands. I think feet also, was all sorts of messed up, and it had floated to the surface. And they was it ever confirmed that it was? But it like had to be.
It was confirmed that it was Delia.
Okay, so they couldn't at the time, but eventually they did confirm that it was one.
They
of the women.
did. They eventually sent down. There was a dive team that found the car, and they found the person that she was in the car with.
Right.
And they found identifying like their IDs. I don't know if it was a credit card or whatever. There were documents in the car that identified the driver and also identified the lady Delia. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Delia, when the car hit the water, or maybe after it settled at the bottom, for whatever reason, Delia escaped the seatbelt, got knocked out of the car. Don't know what happened, but the driver, I think, stayed in because she was buckled in. So
Yeah.
her body was there. Delia's wasn't.
Yes, that's Susie.
Susie, yeah.
And
It was when they
so
were redoing the bridge. They found the body like what was it? 10 years later or
30.
yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And
Yeah,
she
it was-
was like still in the seat.
yeah, it was like 1990, and so people since have said that they've seen a ghost in the lake that's wearing a blue dress and doesn't have hands.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and also y'all mentioned earlier that people have described feeling like some sort of force in the lake that pulls you down. People think that is the lady of the lake also. So, yeah,
But
just
also
another.
the spirits of the people who were in the graveyard before it got flooded.
Right.
Yeah. No, there have been a lot of people, like it's documented that people go swimming in this lake all the time, and they feel things underneath the water, and they feel like they're being dragged underneath the water or out towards the center of the lake. And so one of the explanations for this is the lady with no hands. And yeah, the legend is like if you see her and you keep driving, then she's going to throw your car or throw you into the lake if you don't pull over because she's looking for her hands. And if you stop and try to help her, then she'll disappear and you can go about your way. But people have heard moaning and just like really strange sounds from around this location. So if you see a woman with no hands on Lake Lanier, just pull over. She's probably not going to do anything to you. But if you keep going, you're fucked. She's going to make you drown. She's going to toss your car off the bridge. It's pretty hilarious that she's like walking around looking for her hands, though.
All these years later.
Yeah, like yeah. What are you going to do? And actually, that brings up a good point. How can she drag you into the water if she doesn't have hands?
This is
It's
the
a supernatural
this is the only
being.
rule to the myth that we have found. This is the only.
She got to be pretty good with her feet by now. It's been years, right?
Yeah, she's had to make do. But yeah, I think Billy's right. We might have found the one loophole. Like when the guy that originally sat down and made this up, he's like, "Fuck, I probably should have given her at least one hand."
At least one hand.
A thumb, one thumb.
I don't know about the whole ghost business. I generally don't believe in ghosts, but too many people have said that they felt something incredibly similar in Lake Lanier. And it's probably just some, natural force of the lake, whatever it is. But too many people have said they feel a force dragging them down into the lake for me to ever go. I mean, if you go in that lake, you're crazy. But also for that to not be, something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's spooky shit, for sure.
Reminds me, have you ever heard the story of La Llorona?
No.
No.
La Llorona. It's like a Latin Mexican. I grew up around Mexicans. It's like a little fable. So like what happened was I grew up behind a ditch. And so that's why I told a story to like kids that used to play on the ditches. Ditches are like, you know what a ditch is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I grew up right behind one. We used to catch tadpoles on there. You'd have fucked with us back in the day, Billy. So like the fable goes, there's a woman that she married some like rich guy and they had kids and she caught him fucking around. She ends up drowning the kids in a bit of rage. She drowned them and like immediately regretted it, and so she drowned herself. And then so she walks the banks of the ditch. Because like have you ever seen Coco? You know how they have the afterlife, like that whole thing. So like she's like stuck in purgatory. She's stuck in purgatory until she finds her kids. So she walks the ditches at night looking for her kids, and you can hear her.
Wow. We're going to get back to more lake talk in a second. Before we do, if you're going to a lake, if you're going to a river, if you're going to an ocean, if you're going to a swimming pool, you're going to want to make sure that you're groomed. Got fellas out there, make sure that you're all ready to go. The best way to do that is with Manscaped. It is the best below-the-waist grooming product in the entire world, and we have a new product alert. I know that, Arian, you're not only a representative of Manscaped.com, you're also a client. You use the Manscaped. You use the lawnmower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to, man. It's not the 70s anymore, and you gotta be clean down there, man. And it's good luck, feels good. You just feel better about yourself as a human being.
You do. And they've got a new device out there. It's called the Crop Shaver. And they got the Crop Shaver, the Crop Exfoliator, and the Crop Gel. And so you can crop that bush of yours and get right to the roots with a discount just for you. You can get 20% off, and you get free shipping when you go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code DOSE. Arian said it well. It's not the 70s anymore. And some people take a while to get there until they feel comfortable or they feel like it's the right thing to do to start grooming themselves. But it makes all the difference in the world. Arian will attest to that. You feel like a new man after you shave the old balls, don't you?
I do. I think the best part about it is it's waterproof, and you can do it in the shower. So there's no cleanup really. Just let it drain down into the drain to the hair, eventually clogs up, and you gotta get Drano. But other than that, it's amazing. You can do it right in the shower.
It's perfect because if you're trying to do it somewhere else, like over a floor, you have to like wipe up, you have to like broom up your pubes and sweep them up afterwards. It's not an easy process, but with Manscaped, you can do it right in the shower. Step 1 is the Crop Exfoliator. They've got ingredients that can soothe, clear, and keep the skin on and around your groin feeling refreshed. Can help reduce the risk of ingrown hairs in your delicate places. That's the worst. Don't be having ingrown hairs. They've got you covered with the Crop Exfoliator. They've got Crop Gel, so you can see where you're shaving. They have clear shaving gel just for the groin with 4 essential oils. So you basically get a spa treatment every time that you shave. And then that crop shaver that we were talking about, the crop shaver was designed for shaving the groin area with confidence. 3 precision blades, so you get an extra wide lubricating strip on there too, and the pivoting head for the ultimate groin grooming experience. You've got 3 different blades. You can give yourself a fade. You can give your pubes a fade if you want to. The crop shaver is not your average razor. It's smaller, thicker, with a micro chrome bar that allows for the best shave possible from any angle. And again, it's 20% off, plus you get free shipping with the promo code DOSE. Go to manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. Get the promo code DOSE at checkout. Smooth it out, fellas, with Manscaped. Your balls are going to thank you.
Yeah.
Any of those...
It made me not fuck with dishes at night when I was a kid.
Yeah, any story about like a dead person that just wanders around slowly, that's the easiest way to get me scared. Just like someone, it's in no hurry to get anywhere, just moving around, making strange noises. That shit scares me quite a bit.
You know what was the closing deal on why I don't believe in ghosts? It's because it's like I started thinking about it, like for real. Like if you're a ghost, like why do you only are your business hours only at night, right? And then like why are you always so spooky? And why are you so bitter? Like why are you mad at niggas that's alive? Like what is your deal? Like all you want to do is fuck with alive people. Like go there's no ghost activities. Like your existence is to fuck with people that are living. Like it's just silly.
There's no ghost wars. You're not fighting each other. You don't go to ghost school.
Man.
Yeah.
Like ghost bars. Like
If I was to play devil's advocate, and I don't believe in ghosts, but I mean like most ghost stories are people who were like their lives were cut premature, right? Mm-hmm. So like that would be their gripe, I would assume.
Well, they have unfinished business. That's usually what a ghost story comes down to. It's somebody who has been wronged, that hasn't had the person who was responsible for them becoming a ghost has not had to atone for their evils.
My favorite, I read this whole thing about how most haunted houses, they like did tests on them, and a lot of them had carbon monoxide leaks or some sort of like high radon levels, or lead paint on the inside. And then a lot of like paranormal activity can be described from the side effects of like chemical exposure. So like carbon monoxide, people hallucinate when there's just a little, like not enough to kill you, but like it causes people to go nuts. And that's why like because all haunted houses are old, right? Like you don't have a new, like no one's getting haunted in like a new condominium. Like
right.
It's old houses.
Old creaky ass houses. Yeah. Quick poll. Does anybody here believe in ghosts at all? I think I do. I think I do believe in ghosts.
I do.
Cap.
I think I like to refer to them as spirits. I feel like that's nicer.
Okay.
Than to refer to them as ghosts.
Honestly, they're dead. They probably don't care.
But I mean, if
you think ghosts are PC?
Yeah.
That would be wild if
Well,
like
think about it.
cancel
Yeah.
culture ghosts.
if you got canceled by a ghost.
But think about it. If they're real, wouldn't you think that they would care about how they're getting treated still?
I mean, I would treat ghosts the same way I would a spirit. Just
Right.
like a different
It's
name.
the same thing. I just like calling them spirits because I like to think of them in a positive light. I feel like ghost has a negative connotation.
I think I believe in something to that effect. I don't know exactly what I believe in just yet. I'm still working through that.
But how do you know that they like to be referred to as spirits and not ghosts? Because then you might be pissing them off trying to
Call them
do
spirits?
too much.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's just putting positive vibes out there. That's what
Positive
she's
vibes
trying to do. She's just being like, hey, let's not be mean to the ghosts.
I feel like ghosts get a bad rap, but spirits don't. But then like I feel like you can't call them all angels because they're not.
You guys want to do a ghost pact?
Is there a difference between spirits and ghosts?
No, I don't think so. I think ghosts maybe have like unfinished business, like PFT said.
Do you get like a ghost mission statement or like ghost instructions that tell you the things that you have to accomplish? Because it is weird that, like you said, they show up at night and they typically do similar things that, in the history of what we claim to know about ghosts. But it seems like they're on the same page, like they're pretty well organized.
I feel like if there's angels get like an agenda of what they have or like who they're guardianing over.
I think that it's a little bit arrogant if we as humans, absorbing the miracle of life as we do, think that nothing happens to you whatsoever after you die. I think that something happens to you after you die.
So you're saying you believe in an afterlife?
I believe in something happening. I don't know. I don't know exactly what, but there's so much that we don't know about the metaphysical world and about the physical world even, and just about life
about the metaphysical world.
Yeah, about life in general. That it seems weird that we're all experiencing the beauty of this thing called life together. We're sharing it, and then at the end, it's just absolutely nothing. I don't know.
You know the DMT thing, right?
The God
That's what I
particle.
think.
Yeah, apparently when you die, like your brain releases a shit ton of DMT, which is a powerful hallucinogen, and basically like it causes these, like you're basically tripping when you die.
Mm-hmm.
Use so much, like if it releases so much, it basically like almost like may cause the apparition of an afterlife, or who knows? I mean, it's crazy.
Is that why, like, if you're going off of that, that's kind of how heaven is, where it's like forever and a day type of thing? Because it's like, could be 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But it in your,
How you
recently dead mind.
Yeah, how
You're,
you
like, freaking
observe
out.
time, like people that go to outer space and experience relativity, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In theory, come back and, yeah. I don't know, it could be, like, I just think that it's very weird, like the odds of it happening, of us all being here right now at the exact same time, at the same point in, millions and billions of years of the Earth existing, the universe existing. We all just happen to be here. We don't remember anything before we got here. And then it's just over after less than a blink of an eye in the terms of the universe. Like, I don't know. I don't think I necessarily believe that.
Honestly,
Bro.
Dukes had a good take about it. I asked him today, and Dukes said that ghosts and spirits and whatever are in purgatory, and that's why they're still, like, on Earth with us. Because they're waiting to, like, get to heaven or hell.
Would you rather everything just goes black, it's nothingness for the rest of eternity, or you're a ghost with one very specific, like you're the lady of the lake and your only task for the rest of time is to like try to push people into a lake and you're pissed off the whole time?
Huh. I think I would like a task. I would like a job to do.
But I mean, after
Guys,
a few
ghost pact.
decades,
We should do a ghost pact. Me and my buddies have a ghost pact where if one of us, whoever dies first, haunts the shit out of the other guys, and pranks them.
And then
Yeah.
what does the last person have to do?
Well, then they just go to heaven togetger.
Oh, it's like Ookie Cookie, except
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
got it. Last person to die, we all get out of here. Gotcha.
So we should have a ghost pact. So whoever dies first, prank the shit.
I'll do one, but don't prank me. Like, do some good shit. Like, give me winning lotto numbers or some shit like that. Like, don't do something stupid. Like, I'm already scary. Like, I don't like dark shit. I don't like water.
I like
No.
that. So it's the YouTube pranksters, but the ones that like give people cars. That's what we're gonna be doing as ghosts.
Give me
Like
cars.
icing. We're
didn't
gonna
you get
just
canceled?
where the hell did this Smirnoff Ice appear in my fridge? Like, what the heck? Just like your
Like that.
ghost buddy just icing the shit out of you.
I'm gonna bring
Okay.
back icing big time as a ghost.
What's that?
I'm gonna ice the shit out of everyone when I'm a ghost.
Maybe I can see Billy as like a 55-year-old guy walking into his kitchen. He like opens up the microwave to get his dinner out, and there's a Smirnoff Ice in there all of a sudden, and then he just solemnly takes a knee and starts crying, remembering his buddy that just iced him.
This one's for you, man.
Yeah.
It'd be sick.
Yeah, maybe it's because we've just become so conditioned to thinking of ghosts or spirits as being bad that we're afraid of them. Maybe that has something to do, like when you die and you do become a spirit, maybe it's because you've been told your whole life when you're dead and you're a ghost, you're supposed to do bad shit. You're supposed to do hood rat shit with your friends. How about we reverse that and we're just like positive ghost life?
I low-key think luck is a lot of, ghosts of your ancestors or people looking out for you. Just like the whole concept of luck.
What if you have horrible luck?
Well, then just your ancestors are upset,
What
bro.
if you're like Frank? Like Frank is the unluckiest person of all time.
Well, hypothetically, what if your town was evicted twice and then they poured 600 billion gallons of water on your body? Would that make you upset enough to come back and try to wreck shop on people?
Exactly. Bad luck.
I just couldn't imagine me being so bitter for that many years. Like, at what point I'm like, yeah, I killed about 17 people this year. I'm cool. I'm cool today. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna go upstairs or something. Like, at what point do you get over your beef, your world beef?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe some bitter people down there, because it also might just have something to do with the fact that people are just drunk on a lake. That's very dangerous because there's a shitload of stuff underneath the water, like structures that are still very much real that exist down there that you can hit easily with a boat, or things that you can get tangled up in if you're swimming. But the crazy part about Lake Lanier is that a lot of people have died very, very close to shore, like an abnormal number of people die. You have to expect that there will be some people that pass away in a body of water every year. They have like cardiac episodes, and if you're in the water and your heart stops, you're pretty much dead. But there's an abnormally high amount of people that die in very shallow water who are also strong swimmers in good health at Lake Lanier. Like, that has actually been proven over the years that it's a much higher rate than other lakes.
So basically the science behind why like it's much more than the lake that's like a couple miles away, and even though not proportionate to how many people visit, is that there are other lakes that were created in this 1948 Rivers and Waters Act in quite similar ways, where they just flood land that wasn't a lake before. And another example is Lewis Smith Lake in North Alabama, and it has some of the same types of accidents, deaths, and disturbances. It's smaller than Lake Lanier, but it's basically very similar in how it's created and having structures underwater and having forests underwater. So basically the reason that, since there's so much stuff on the bottom of the lake, people get tied up in it, wrapped up, you're not just dealing with reeds that you pull up. There's so much stuff that you can get entangled or trapped on. And also, since it's not a natural waterway, there hasn't been enough erosion to cause like a plain. So there's a lot of drop-offs in the shallow to deep water.
Mm-hmm.
That causes a lot of these like people who are swimming, and then it's suddenly, it's 100-foot deep lake, like 20 yards offshore.
Yeah.
So since it's not a natural lake, it has some of these differences in, topography, like the angle of the slope of a lot of the beaches. And with that, there's also like the most dangerous lake in the United States is Lake Michigan. And the Great Lakes kill a lot of people every year because they're super deep. They're glacial lakes, and they're this steep drop off. So, a lot of this is explainable by just, an artificial lake doesn't work like other lakes. So it's going to kill more people.
Yeah. There's definitely something to that. Like, especially the parts about the big drop-offs. If you're not a strong swimmer, you're walking out, it drops off. Maybe you hit your head when you drop down. Maybe you panic and you don't realize which way is up and you're underwater. It's there's always that scary moment if you're like in the ocean and you jump off a boat or whatever, and you think that you're going to be able to touch the ground with your feet underneath the water, and there's just no ground there. And there's like a moment of panic of like, oh shit, how deep is this water right now? And that always freaks me out when that happens.
Well, we got this story from this person. Goy Sports said, I grew up 5 miles away from Lake Lanier, and a few summers ago, one of my mom's coworkers was jumping on one of those water trampolines with her kids when she decided to jump off into the lake. She went under and got caught in a chimney that had been flooded and never came back up.
Fuck that.
That's fucked.
Fuck that.
How fucked is that?
I mean, that's a crazy good shot, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know how precise you have to be? Fit in a chimney?
That's scary.
That sucks. That's probably like the worst way to die ever.
That gives me shivers. The like claustrophobia underwater freaks me out.
Especially if like obviously if she jumped in, she could like see the top. Like she could see and just stuck in a chimney. Oh, that's horrible.
Pretty
The
bad.
wall-
Don't go in the water. Do not go in the water.
That's your best take.
I like that somebody saw
water.
trampolines and they were like, you know what, this isn't dangerous enough. Let's put it on a lake where we can't see what we're landing on.
That's fucked.
I will never. I don't think I'll ever go off.
I'm never going to go off a water trampoline again.
I'm always scared. We used to go boating on Lake Travis a lot, and there's like rock formations underwater. So you have to be on a boat that has like one of those sonar things that shoots it down to the water so you can tell exactly how deep it is before you jump off anything. But I never fully trust it because what if you miss like one rock and then you jump off a cliff and then boom, land on that. Lakes are pretty dangerous, but they're so much fun. The other thing about Lake Lanier is this is actually something that's fascinated me for a while. There are a lot of rogue waves on Lake Lanier. Rogue waves are maybe the most metal thing that happens in nature. They're not really sure how they're created. They're more common in the ocean, obviously, but they also happen in giant lakes where, for whatever reason, a lot of energy gets pent up and it just creates a tidal wave that moves silently across the water. And if there's a boat that's on it, like, you can get fucked up big time. And sometimes you won't even know when the rogue wave goes underneath you because of how the nature of water acts. I don't know. I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson, but sometimes you don't realize that a rogue wave is passing underneath you, and then it gets to shore and it just absolutely wrecks people on shore when it's finally forced to crash. But sometimes it can just take a boat and just throw it over, and you don't see it coming, you don't hear it coming. There's some dispute on how they're created in lakes especially, but they're crazy. Like, I kind of love, it's one of those things that is so scary to me that I actually kind of love it.
Nah.
Billy, have you ever seen a rogue wave?
No, it sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what's like, isn't there like waves that are like rogue waves called like not El Toro, but like just like they appear out of nowhere and surfers are really into them, right? Like in California, like, oh man, like, is it not El Nino, but
El Nino,
like
La
legend
Nina?
waves.
Like a spirit that creates waves?
No, it's just like they sometimes show up. Like there's like it's one of the top 10 most famous waves. Like there was the Waimea in Hawaii that they're just like rare.
Wait, you can name a wave?
Yeah, like a wave will come and crash, and like the surfers all stand around and be like, "Yo, man, that was a legendary wave. Like we got to remember that wave."
I just wanted to go sit on a beach just naming wave, like one after the other.
Phil. John Wave.
The largest recorded rogue wave was 84 feet high and struck the Draupner oil platform in the North Sea in 1995.
Damn. That's a big-ass wave. There have also been a bunch of murders at Lake Lanier and disappearances. A few people have been shot there. A lot of bodies have just been found from various crimes that get committed in the area. This part was funny. They find a lot of weapons in there and a lot of cars. And the sheriff was like, yeah, there are a lot of weapons here, but there's nothing that we don't think that they're tied to any crimes. It's like, why else would somebody throw a gun into a lake? Like that's to me is de facto evidence that somebody was probably killed or shot at using that very gun. But yeah, a bunch of people, like, they steal cars and then they drive them into the lake, which is cool as hell, admittedly. That's pretty awesome. Like, they just go for a joyride and then they drive it into the lake and then it submerges and it's become just a junk pile, pretty much. Like if you figure, there's all that shit down underneath the water anyways, well, what's one more Mustang going to do? Why is that going to be a problem? So people just throw shit into the water, which just goes on to make it more dangerous after the fact. So the lake's getting worse. And there's one recent story in the news involving Julio Jones. So this is 2018, I think, 2019 maybe. He goes jet skiing out on Lake Lanier, and his earring fell off. He had a $100,000 earring.
I remember that.
That fell out of his ear and fell into the lake. And they asked him if he was going to get like a diver to come search for it, but the divers said it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible given everything that's underneath that lake to try to go look for it. But he had it insured, which is good. And I was reading an article about it, and right after the quote from the diver where it said it's impossible, absolutely impossible, the writer just threw this one in here. Hopefully that means absolutely impossible in the same way it was absolutely impossible for the Patriots to overcome a 28-3 deficit late in the third quarter of Super Bowl.
I knew exactly
41.
where that was going to
go. They just 51. Sorry, they just tossed that in there. That's brutal for Falcons fans. It's like any story. The man lost a $100,000 piece of jewelry, and that's not bad enough to write that story. You have to throw in the fact that they lost a Super Bowl. Is that going to be in every article about him for the rest of his life?
Also, I just looked this up, and I'm seeing $150,000. Does that mean the pair of earrings is $300,000? Because that's outrageous.
Is it like a one earring type deal?
It would be odd if he just had one earring that was $100,000 and the other one was like
right.
10K.
So I'm saying, and I keep seeing earrings singular. $300,000 for earrings.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorite responses. At They Danger said, legend has it Georgia Tech still runs the triple option at the very bottom of the lake.
Jesus.
I like that.
Georgia Tech should have never stopped running the
They
triple
should
option.
not have done that. Yeah. I hope that's true. I hope that part's true. Do you think that, like, given all this shit that's happened in and around this lake and the history of northern Georgia, do you think that Atlanta sports teams are cursed because of all the curse of Atlanta sports teams? It's actually one and the same with the curse of the lake. It's just that whole area is cursed.
So you brought this up earlier, and it's an interesting. There are two prevalent theories as to why Atlanta sports are cursed. The first is the city of Atlanta sold its soul to the devil to get the Olympics in 1996, which the timeline does. The Braves won the World Series in '95, and then immediately after that they get the Olympics, and then dog shit since.
And then Richard Jewell.
Yeah, the other one is that
you saw the Richard Jewell movie. And
never actually saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could see that being like one of the founding, like the bedrock keystone of
I find it
everything that you're terrified about in life.
I do. But the other actually has to do kind of with what you were talking about earlier, that much of Atlanta is built on like Indian burial grounds, and that's why the sports are cursed also.
Well, the one sport that they had that won, the Atlanta Braves, who they beat in that World Series.
Indians.
Yeah, so it was like rock versus
somebody had to win.
Immovable object.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take the Cleveland Indians and say that they're more cursed
Yeah.
than the Atlanta Braves are. So, yeah, you guys are cursed. No two ways about it. Wait, why does the devil give a shit where the Olympics are?
I don't know. That's just it's a prevalent theory.
He just takes any type of, like, if you want something, he'll get it.
I mean, he deals in all sorts of stuff.
Just souls. He markets. If anybody is in the market for like to sell their soul, he's like, okay, let's talk terms.
If you win, you get this shiny fiddle made of gold, but if you lose, the devil gets your soul.
Dude, Charlie Daniels.
Rest
Like-
in peace.
Tell that nigga to holler at me.
Your soul's up for grabs. I think it's like
Oh,
student.
yeah. It's cool.
What would you guys sell your soul for?
That's what I'm saying. I would do it for. That's interesting.
Quarter pounder?
Because, that gotta be something I actually like. Be something cool though, like a beach house, something like
Yeah.
that.
That's pretty cheap for selling your soul.
Well, I mean, how much are souls worth? How much is this willing nigga to give? Like, so if give me a country. Give me a country. Will he do that?
Yeah, actually, that's a good move.
See, Billy, you have to understand supply and demand, because I think that there are a lot of people out there that are willing to sell their souls. So the devil knows, like, I don't have to overextend myself. Like, this is
An economically savvy devil.
yes. He's got the power of he has alternatives. If you don't want to sell him your soul, he's like, fine. There's somebody down the block who will. So he can walk away from the negotiating table.
And you're like, hold on, player, hold on, let's talk about this.
Yeah, I think that the I don't know. I would probably say beach house sounds to me like that's making a lot of sense. Beach
like
house.
a movie beach house, you know, like where it's like a hut, you know what I mean? Like I can walk straight, like
What beach?
straight out, huh?
What beach?
It's got to be like Hawaii or something. Like American beaches aren't that good. Like they're kind of like dirty and, but like it has to be like some tropical waters to where it's like blue, you know what I mean? Not like brown.
What
Something
about
like that?
what about the beach house from Wolf of Wall Street? But like the party still rages on all the time there. That exact
I
party.
don't
is
want
still
parties. I don't want any parties.
going. No parties.
If I have a beach house, that's for solace. It's not for.
Arian, I thought you need water. Why would you get a beach house?
I'm not going in it. It's beautiful to
Yo,
look
yeah,
at.
you can enjoy the scenery
Beautiful
of the
look.
beach in a beach town without going into the ocean.
And to
Beautiful to look at.
all our Hawaiian listeners, I will acknowledge, even though Arian won't, that you are a part of America when he says that
He meant mainland.
he didn't want an American beach.
Facts. That's my fault. I
Would
fucked
you-
that off. Yeah,
Would you like to apologize? Say, or we're gonna say aloha to you, the goodbye one, if you don't apologize. How many listeners do you think we have in Hawaii right now?
At least 38.
38. Aloha, mahalo to our Hawaiian
Mahalo.
friends. Yeah, I honestly, beach house. Devil, talk to me. Give my people a call. We'll make something work out. If it's
Let's
a good
talk
beach
about it. I'm
house,
down.
I can do it. What about you, Big T?
I don't know if you promised me, and we've had this discussion before with different scenarios, that Tennessee would win a national championship in football. We're alarmingly close in baseball right now, but if you could promise me we win a football national championship, I'd be in talks. I'm not saying I would do it, but I would. It's a conversation worth having.
Didn't he say he would kill himself in the middle of the field or like get publicly executed?
No, he said that he would have Khalid Sheikh Mohammed be the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers if it meant that they would be guaranteed a national championship, and right afterwards he would be beheaded at midfield.
Because I mean, it's not going to get any better than the Vols winning a natty.
KSM bringing it home. Feels like 98.
We're gonna win one in baseball now, though, so that's gonna hold us over for a little while.
Most guys have tried different ways to last longer, but thinking about baseball doesn't always work. The folks at Roman, an online men's health company, are changing the game with Roman Swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman Swipes are clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whatever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipes out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry, and you're good to go. That's it. Go to getroman.com/dose, and you can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's getroman.com/dose.
Yeah. Would you sell your soul if it ensured that you would get like a reasonable interest rate on any loan that you ever receive for the rest of your life? I'm talking like pretty decent, like a point below market average.
I mean, I'm paying some pretty steep interest on student loans right now, so that sounds not too bad.
Would you sell your
I'd do-
soul
that's-
for?
That's what I would do. I would erase all student loan debt. Sell myself for that.
You know, student
Thank
loan
you.
debt, you can't file for bankruptcy. Like if you file for bankruptcy, you still have to pay off your student loans. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, is a
sucks.
Arian's a man of the people.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Billy.
I know, but like you can't even bankruptcy.
Don't want to hear about that. Don't want to hear about that bullshit. Pull yourself by your bootstraps. Go get a job. Stop being lazy and relying on welfare.
It would be ridiculous if you. What if you sold your soul to have every single sports team win every championship for the rest of your life? That would actually kind of suck.
I wouldn't want that.
How long do you think it would take for you to get sick of that situation?
I've said forever, I want each of the teams I like to win one time. Exactly one. I want the Vols to win once, Braves, Falcons, Hawks, Preds, one time.
Not even twice.
No, I wanna enjoy it all one time. And that's it.
I agree with that. Except I would like one dynasty. So I would want one of those teams to win 3 times in 5 years. So I could be like, remember that age, the dynasty? That was crazy.
Okay.
We dominated.
Who are your teams?
Me or PFT?
Both.
Braves, Falcons, Hawks, Predators, Vols.
I would be cheering for the football team. They play football. The Washington Capitals, the Washington Nationals, and yeah, I guess I'm technically a Wizards fan, but not really. I don't have any space in my head for the Wizards. Never really cared enough about them to ever actively cheer for them. But yeah, if I
I
could
think
get,
it's because their uniforms suck.
and the name sucks. The name's off.
Name and the uniform, yeah.
Well,
I
the old
agree.
name was cool.
The
then
Bullets,
they
and
had to get rid of it.
they changed it, and there were a bunch of good names that they were thinking about changing it to, and then Abe Poland was like, well, I'm going to call them the Wizards, and then gave us some weird, like, angular mascot logo that looked,
That sucked.
yeah.
Those
They
gold,
ruined
those gold
the latter
uniforms
part of
were
Michael
cool.
Jordan's career with those whack ass uniforms.
They did.
Like, none of his shoes looked dope in those uniforms. All trash.
Yeah. I've got a Michael Jordan Wizards uniform, and I'm just, like, too embarrassed to ever wear it because
It's just
they've been trying to go back to the Bullets, and they're just wearing jerseys now that say DC on them, and they're in the old Bullet style. So we're making our way back there pretty quickly. Or what if the Washington football team just became the Bullets?
That'd be a good name.
That'd be sick.
Oh, there was a Twitter thread actually that had it was it was like 2 years ago, that had like all the football teams that had basketball teams in a city. They swapped the jerseys. So like the Houston Rockets had like football uniforms on, were for the Houston Rockets were football uniforms, and then the Houston Texans had basketball jerseys. And it was dope how they did that shit. I liked it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd sell my soul for. Just eternal sports luck doesn't seem. It'd get annoying after a while. Parades are loud, a lot of people. You can only drink out of the Stanley Cup so many times. You know how it goes.
You'd just be a Boston fan.
Yeah, really. Dave Portnoy he probably sold his soul.
Dave and Feidelberg. Yeah.
Sold his soul, and just like an auxiliary benefit of that was getting to do the media stuff, like developing the company.
Right.
Was just. I actually sometimes think and I wonder about that, like how successful would this company be if Boston sports had absolutely sucked from the year 2004 until like 2018? Because there's definitely there's an element of visibility that comes with a winning team.
That's
good.
interesting. That's a good point.
I would sell my soul to have the Lakers win the championship every year.
Every year?
Strictly to fucking brag. I love that. That's fun.
What do you think about LeBron taking number 6 though?
Maybe this is part of the deal that we struck.
Ooh, 6. That's the mark of the beast.
Yep.
LeBron made some sort of deal with Satan at some point in his life. I'm confident in that.
Who are we most confident has made a deal with Satan?
He's chosen one. He's the chosen one on his back.
Jeff Bezos?
After he sold his soul.
Who made a deal with the devil? Didn't Ozzy
Rex
Osbourne?
Ryan.
Rex Ryan? Who else keeps getting chances?
I think Musk. I think Elon Musk's like his ancestor.
Tim Tebow, bro.
Oh, I'm interested to hear this.
Bro, listen, dude is sure he's a great guy, right? I never met him. Sure he's a great guy, but like not
He's just
a good
controlled by
quarterback, bro.
Satan.
You say what?
You say, I'm sure he's a great guy, but he's controlled by Satan.
It would make sense. The Jesus thing is like a little, maybe his angle, right? And maybe his angle, and he keeps getting like chances in professional sports. It's wild.
And then every time he Tebows, he's actually like praying to the devil, and then he got everyone else to do
He's
it.
praying to Satan.
Yeah.
I'm on board with this theory, Arian. I think Tim Tebow is. I love it when he's involved in the conversation because he's so fun to talk about. Because he's so like polarizing and weird. He's a big fucking weirdo. And
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I love having him around. I always thought that the Mets should have brought him up to the actual major league roster because they stunk at the time. Why not sell a few more tickets? Give us something to talk about. Put asses in seats. I was always perplexed why they never even gave him a shot. But he is like, whatever thing he gets in his head that he wants to try next. It's like, yeah, Tim, you can do this. We all believe in you. Like we treat him like he's a child still. And he's like, I want to be an astronaut. Okay, Tim, we'll send you to space camp. How does that sound? I want to be a race car driver. Okay, Tim.
The funnier thing is like if you say anything negative about this man, he has like Beyonce level stands, bro. Like where they would just attack you on some like, well, look at your career, and I'm like, I bet.
Yeah, I'd venture to say that Arian Foster had a better NFL career than Tim Tebow did. Just going
Not
out
to
on a
Tim
limb.
Tebow's fans though, not to his fans.
Right.
To his fans, I had the worst.
You remember
career.
when he couldn't even play punt protector in New York?
Yeah.
I didn't even at that time. I was checked out of the Tim Tebow news.
He looks fucking huge now, though. He's got like these biceps that are like the size of legs. It's crazy. Billy, what steroids is he on?
I think like he's on Trent, low key. That looks like Trent.
What's that?
Trenbolone acetate, which was used to. It's like the stuff they give to cattle to like make a lot of meat.
What?
Like
Yo,
that giant
was that-
cattle.
Yeah.
There was that tweet that went viral, right? And I put cap on it, right? That's how the Tebow fans started to swarm. But they said that this man, well, I think it was like how much, I don't know how much it was on the bar, but I guess he was like in maybe college or high school, something like that. And he walked in and did like, what was it, like 300 or 400 reps?
Yeah.
And walked out. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog. Get the fuck.
It was,
and all his fans were like, "You don't know, you weren't there."
he
Power
simply, he simply tried harder. He
The only
simply
steroid he's on is Jesus.
Yeah. Was it
Yeah, like-
the old saying like PEDs? I pray every day. Yeah, take them.
Just beating himself up with holy water every day.
He that story is so funny because I think it's a 45-pound bar that he was doing these on, and then he like the next closest was what 50.
I just found the story. When Tim Tebow was 14 years old, he attended a summer camp with his older brothers. Kids at the camp had a 55-pound curl bar and wanted to see who could do the most. The record was 55. Tebow stepped up. He was last in line. He didn't stop at 56, though. Why? Because the guy behind him was massive, and Tebow didn't know how many he could do. Instead, 14-year-old Tim Tebow did 315 reps of the 55-pound bar. He couldn't move his arms for 3 days, but the last guy didn't come close.
He's like worth it. Worth it. Wait, that story said he was last in line, but then at the end,
Second to last, my
Oh,
bad.
second to last. Okay.
Yeah.
God, imagine what a pain in the ass that would be going to summer camp with Tim Tebow. Why even bother with any activity? It's like, okay, here's.
Is he a not drink guy? Because I think he like does drink.
I was just gonna ask, did he drink it in college?
I think he drinks, but he doesn't drink.
But the thing is, guys who like if you told me like Taysom Hill, right? Like Mormon, he's that jacked because like he doesn't drink and just like doesn't like his body's been untouched by like anything that could like lower your testosterone. Like that could be more believable. But Tebow's just out there drinking. So like, you know?
Like, does he have one beer?
Here's a story. In a world full of booze, drugs, and girls, Tebow admits to a different sort of vice. I love ice cream, he says. The biggest reason I don't consume alcohol is because if I have a glass of wine, I don't want to be responsible for a kid looking up to me and saying, hey, Tebow's doing it, I'm going to do it.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. What a stand-up guy.
I love you, Tim.
Oh God, bro.
Johnny Manziel and Tim Tebow. And like that's basically the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other.
If Tim Tebow like partied like Johnny Manziel and Johnny Manziel lived life like Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel would probably still be in the NFL right now. He'd probably be a very good quarterback.
Would Tebow be a little more, if he was a little more relaxed, he would have been a better quarterback?
Maybe. Yeah, he's got all that pressure been up. He has no vices.
It's still criminal that we haven't had a documentary on the 2008 Florida Gators that had Urban Meyer, Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, Riley Cooper,
The Pouncies.
the Pouncey twins,
Should
Percy
we-
Harvin.
Brandon Spikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal that team, the collection of characters they had.
All right, wait, more from this article about Tim Tebow. Tim explains, while he loves meeting and talking with new people, he is also careful about leading girls on. While his peers are out partying, Tebow can be found hanging out with my siblings and close friends. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. I love laughing. I love telling jokes. I really try to enjoy life and have joy with what I do. I mean, this guy's a fucking Satanist. You called it. The devil's hands are very busy in Tim Tebow's soul right now.
Bro, niggas that be that perfect, I be feeling like they be choking babies or some shit. They be doing something. Like, cause like niggas, you not that like it's wild how perfect you are portrayed.
Well, he goes and he circumcises orphans. He goes on these mission trips over the Philippines. What if he is like Dexter? What if he is like a serial killer, but he's found all the perfect ways to like slowly escalate his behavior throughout the years? So he starts playing a lot of football, not because he loves football, but because he can just like hurt people that are smaller than him growing up, and he has like a thing about trying to run people over and dominate them. And then he progresses. Now he's circumcising kids overseas, where under the wrong set of circumstances, the physical acts that he's doing could be considered highly illegal, whether it's torture or, if you want to go down a darker road, maybe it's molestation. But because it's under the umbrella of, like, I'm circumcising people with my church, then it's okay. But now I'm just playing devil's advocate here. There's a good possibility that Tim Tebow might have sold his soul to the devil, and it's only a matter of time before he kills.
Or
You seen that?
he sold his soul to Jesus, and Jesus drives a harder bargain.
Do you think him and Trevor Lawrence are going to be like Jesus bros together? Do you think they're going to start a Bible study on the Jaguars?
Is Trevor Lawrence a Jesus guy? I haven't even.
Yeah,
I
Trevor
think
Lawrence.
so.
Trevor Lawrence got married at 21. He's a huge Jesus
He's from
guy.
the Dabo Swinney tree, so he probably is. Gardner Minshew, now he's going to be the wild card on that team. We should actually that should be Hard Knocks this year. Give me Tebow, Gardner, Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer. That would be, it'd be amazing.
I think they're going to try to out Jesus each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because when there's like two guys are similar, and they sort of occupy the same like role in like different friend groups, and then they meet each other and they hate each other. But you think they're going to be best friends because they're alike?
There's definitely going to be like an unspoken rivalry, maybe. And you're right. One is going to have to prove themselves as being like the bigger Jesus guy.
Who's gonna lead the team prayer?
Tim Tebow. He's going to do 305 reps of the team prayer. He's going to make sure that Trevor can't do more than he does.
Well, that might piss off Trevor.
Yeah.
So like Trevor might be like, I'm the Jesus guy. Like this guy, he's not allowed to out Jesus me.
Trevor got married at 21. That's the biggest Jesus guy move you can do.
Yeah.
When did Tebow get married?
Like just this year.
Recently,
Recently, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he was out here hoeing? Question mark.
No.
Yeah. Tebow might have a couple skeletons. Like you haven't really heard of anybody that he's kept his nose relatively clean as far as dating rumors go.
Yeah. No, but Trevor Lawrence and his wife are younger than me and Billy are.
Yeah. That's
scary.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very scary. So Tim Tebow, Satanist, Big T
Shout out to them.
agrees.
I didn't say I agreed with that.
Yeah. He is too squeaky clean. Would Tim Tebow sell his soul to Jesus to guarantee that he gets in heaven, but he had to kill 7 children to do it?
No. I think he'd want to work hard for it.
What if Jesus was like, he's like,
Yeah,
that's
work hard for the
not
same
enough?
No, I think he'd be like, nah, I can do this on my own. I don't need your help.
No, he'd be like, I'm going to set the record. What's the record for
Most
most children
children
murdered? I'm going to do 3 times as many.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the picture of Ronnie Lott and John Madden?
Very much alive.
He's alive. He doesn't look great, unfortunately.
No.
I'm worried about John Madden, officially worried.
No, he's definitely about to go in this year probably.
Yeah.
Did you
Did you see him, bro?
Yeah, a lot of like these guys. I know guys who look like that who lived for like 30 more years.
Billy, you making shit up, man.
I'm not.
He doesn't look great. It's a combination of that and also the fact that he's been out of the public eye so much. It makes me think that maybe I don't want it to be true, and we kept Tommy Lasorda alive for years and years after many people thought that he was going to pass along. Maybe we have to go to visit death and convince him not to take John Madden. So he should be on the cover of Madden, though. I think that this year, it's like the old saying goes, give people their love and their roses while they're still alive. Don't wait for them to die to tell somebody that you love them. Because what if spirits don't exist? What if ghosts don't exist and they don't get to hear that? So I say put John Madden on the cover of Madden this year. And, yeah, people will be like, it's a Madden curse when he dies. But guess what? He's going to pass away anyways. Hopefully not soon, but he might. I just say I would like to see him back on the cover of Madden. Bring it back full circle. All right. Anything else anybody wants to add? Do we have any other tweets or emails or anything about this fucking lake?
Oh, just big disclaimer. Don't go in the water. Just don't fucking go.
I
Stop
did
going
share in the
water.
group chat that they're actually coming out with a documentary on it.
Oh,
It's not a
November-
It's not a
Is it?
documentary. It's like a horror movie.
Oh, it's going to be a movie. It's
Yeah.
called Lanier, November 28th. We might all have to watch that.
yes.
It's
But
real
yeah,
area how this podcast has so much social currency, man. I'm just saying.
someone did say that it was a fact that Big T has been quoted as saying, "This is my favorite place to dump a body."
Is that
Yeah.
true?
It is.
Not a-
Yeah, I would. That is a great place.
If you had to dump a body, though, based on what you know about the lake, is it a good place or a
It
bad
seems
place?
like if somebody needed to dump a body, it wouldn't be the worst place in the world. But it also seems like it's such an obvious place that, like, you wouldn't want to do it there.
Like it's a little chuggy almost
Yeah,
to dump your body
for
there.
sure.
Everyone's doing it.
For sure.
The block is too hot. I don't know.
I feel like though, from what you said, PFT, I feel like the cops have kind of given up on looking there.
All the time in Georgia, it's like, yep, boat with 3 people capsized. We went looking for it for 2 days, didn't find it. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound like they've treated the lake as a suspect in so many murders and investigations.
Lake got him.
They're like, I think we can close the book on this one. She's in the lake.
Yep.
Classic.
Detectives, and they're just like, oh man, Lake got another one. Lake did it.
Yep. I'm gonna go arrest the lake real quick. There's probably been, I guarantee you, there's been at least one Georgia State Trooper that has discharged his weapon into that lake.
Despot.
Just
Lake
shot
top.
the lake. Got him. What'd you call it?
Desk pop. You ever seen the other guys?
No.
When was your last desk
You ever seen
pop?
the other guys?
September 08? Yeah.
Will-
Arian,
Will-
Arian knows what I'm talking about.
In Mark Wahlberg,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if you were a tuna, I'd swim out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't butcher it because that's an amazing joke.
No.
All right. That does it for us today. Anything else? Any more emails, comments?
Lake Lanier might get cut off as a water supply to Atlanta because it's in the middle of a little lawsuit right now. So I think the lake's getting canceled by
You can sue
Minnesota.
a lake?
They're saying that they shouldn't be using all that water for Atlanta. It should be just for the surrounding areas.
Okay.
Why? Because is it too dirty?
No, it's just that they basically just been taking the water and it's been causing like weird droughts and stuff around there. So it's actually wrapped up in a little bit of a controversy. Several lawsuits.
Feels like they're just trying to disrupt the lake. I don't know. Just throw everything you can at the lake because investigations haven't worked. Talking about it hasn't worked. Why not try to just wrap it up in court for a while?
Yeah, so Congress never authorized Lake Lanier to be used as a source of water supply for Metro Atlanta. So Georgia has 3 years to stop withdrawing from the lake. That's kind of crazy. Isn't it? And it supplies 75% of the water to Atlanta.
Something tells me they'll work that out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't go to Lake Lanier. Don't go there. If you do, stay out of the water. And if you don't stay out of the water, stay away from the lady with 2 hands unless she's trying to flag you down, in which case pull over and help her out. Because she doesn't have any hands. She can't hitchhike. She hasn't gotten a ride. Help her out. All right. That does it for us. Love you guys. And, what color underwear is Big T wearing?
It's gotta be gray today.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't remember.
Sorry. You never remember.
Yeah, I know.
Wearing underwear?
Oh, is that
Navy.
navy? Okay. I saw gray, but that's from your shirt.
Close enough.
No, it's the waistband.
Oh, the
waistband is
waistband's gray. So we're going to give that a half correct answer.
Quick
I'll take it.
quick programming note. Subscribe to our YouTube. We're close to 10K, very close. Also, we have a TikTok now. We're running that thing big. That's going to be big. And yeah. Also get our merch.
Yes.
Merch.
Merch is fire.
Look how sick that shirt is in the middle.
These are great summer shirts. Check them out. Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, leave a review. And yeah, we will see you guys next week.